Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man. Man, talk about, because I mean we saying all this stuff you done did, you know what I'm saying? But like even when it came time for you to get the deal, like you would be going to like the studio with Toya, not even on no rapper shit, just on some
Right.
like supportive boyfriend type shit.
Right.
And the dude-
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, you know, but nah, you know, just being there and then the dude, they find out like, oh, this dude like is a star at home type shit, like.
Yeah. Man. Right. It was like that. Like really, man. Early, I saw the money, man. Like I saw Lil J getting that money, and I seen how rappers look. You know what I'm saying? So I always was interested in being the boss, and I didn't really care about having no record deal. You know, because I felt like they was gonna get the most. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't what I ever was looking for. Like I seen that go bad so many times. You gotta understand like where I'm at now. When I'm dating Toya, I'm like, I'm in the game. Like this is around like
You've already gotten rich, basically.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like I know my self value. Like I got shows all the time. I'm selling a lot of CDs and getting the most of the money. You know, like, and I've been doing it on mixtapes too, so I know how I feel. That's the thing. That's what the difference is with me. Like, in a lot of rappers was trained to say, I'm gonna go sign with a label, I'm gonna go get a record deal, you know what I'm saying, and they gonna give me some money, and then I'm gonna be a rapper and work for them. But I wasn't trained like that. I was more on, I want to be the record label. I want to do everything myself and get the most money and do all that. So that gave me a head start on a lot of shit, thinking like that so early. You know what I'm saying? So I just kept like through selling mixtapes, I learned my self value. Like it wasn't even an album, but I knew, hey man, if I drop this, I'm gonna make 80,000. You know what I'm saying? So when a label tell me I'm gonna give you 250,000 for 4 albums, I'm like, man, they don't even drop albums once a year. That's like 8 years for 250,000. I make 80,000 when I drop fake albums. Like what? That don't make sense. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like it ain't impressed me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'd rather get this money than go be famous. And early, and you know what gave me the insight? I was seeing how rappers, they wasn't living like me, bro. Rappers with record deals, they was on TV, but they wasn't living like me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, I'm good where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? On a lot of shit. So I was out there just kicking it with Toya. She recording the album, and she tell me to get on one of her songs or whatever. She's like, hey, do a verse to this. I'm like, okay, cool. It was some Houston shit. So I was like, bet. So I did a verse, and he like, man, her manager like, damn, you rap? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, play me a couple records. I played him like Three Kings. I had Like a Boss, but on the Mr. Lee beat, before the Pharrell beat. Probably that song I had Rockstar, and it was another song I had, it was I don't know, I forgot the name of that motherfucker. Yeah, anyway, it was like 5 songs. He was like, man, he wanted to play it for Jaha at Geffen, Interscope or whatever. So, in doing that, and we ended up doing a record deal, through all that shit. So just going through that being out there with her, recording with her, ended up leading me getting with Pharrell and all that shit there. Because the thing was, at that point, I was getting money, but I was like, okay, how long I'm gonna be able to do this shit? Keep going in these same circles. It's going, but it ain't going further than right here. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people didn't get the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like until Still Tippin came, the culture was in a boundary. Like of course you had certain places,
Little pockets and shit.
Yeah, pockets of people who would understand it and follow it. But the world was looking at us like we was goofy, you know what I'm saying, for a long time, for sipping cough syrup, listening to slow music. They like, what the fuck is y'all, what y'all slow out there? Being from the South, it was a lot of hate, so it wasn't really accepted a lot until Still Tippin came and kind of gave them a whole view of the culture, people swinging and banging and shit, and like it just gave them a different view of it, you know what I'm saying? And it took it a little further, I would say, you know what I'm saying? And Shit. I forgot what the fuck I was saying. I'm high.
Nah, that's cool. Had y'all already done still tipping by when you had got to the studio that time, or that was something that came like a little bit later?
What studio? When?
When this session with Toya had still tipping already been recorded and the day here
Still Tipping was done. I don't even think Mike Jones was on Still Tipping originally. It
on
was
the first
me.
version of it.
Yeah, and then it was through Big Time. I did it on Big Time beat. You know what I'm saying? Him and Watts was doing the Swisher House album. And I still would work with Watts even though I left Swisher House. I would still go do freestyles with Watts. I would still do, songs with him, just appreciative of teaching me the game, you know what I'm saying, alone. I always felt like I owed him something because, ever since I met him, I've been getting money, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, you know, that was for that was for that project, and then Mike Jones started building the buzz up, you know what I'm saying? And then when he started building the buzz, Swisher House was pushing him, so Still Tipping was taking off. It was like '03, 03, I believe, '02, '03, like, and
Donnie Houston.
Donnie Houston.